He is number one. He is the Prince of all Saiyans, Vegeta. Welcome everybody to my guide and in-depth tutorial on GT Vegeta. You guys voted for him. The most of you voted for him, of course. Some of you voted for the other characters that I listed in that poll, but the majority of you voted for this guy, so this is what you're gonna get. In this video, I'll show you his stamina break setups. I'll show you his optimization, his infinite loop combos, tech. I'll show you how to properly utilize his 3 unique skills. And just give you tips on how to properly use this guy, because he's actually fairly decent as a character, unlike freaking Almond Goku. But that's besides the point. He's a very unique character. He functions very similar to another character, that being Fused Zamasu, and I'll show you why that is when we get into the infinite loop section, because he actually is a character that can tech mid-combo without stamina breaking you. And the only other character that can do that is Fused Zamasu. But this Vegeta can do it so much better than him. But first, let's get into those stamina breaks. One heavy will link a light stamina break. So will 2 heavies. If you want to link a light stamina break or heavy stamina break after a 3rd heavy, however, it will cost you. You will use 1 bar of stamina, and he does have very low stamina, as you can see there. That's one of his shortcomings. But it is the way that you can link those stamina breaks. The other way that you can do it is this. After that, light stamina break. Then, if you want, you can also do this. Oh, not that. Hold on a second. After that kick, light stamina break. Heavy stamina break doesn't really work consistently, and I'll try and demonstrate that to you guys. That will just up and miss sometimes, but sometimes it'll actually hit. It's weird how it works. However, you can link the heavy stamina break if you spend the bar on this. You can also link a light stamina break after that. His heavy stamina break is the exact same as the base Gogeta from Dragon Ball Super, which I might do a guide on him in the future, but I don't really know if he really requires one. He's pretty simple, aside from one tech that actually no, that's not really something that I need to go over either, because even Steedoge knows about that tech. He's a very casual player, but that's besides the point. His other stamina break is this. After this knee, you can link a light stamina break, or you can link a heavy stamina break. This is only doable when close to the ground, of course. Oh, and be careful about that. Depending on what map you are, depending on what map you're on, sometimes, depending on the debris that's on the ground, it can cause your camera to get messed up during that combo string. And it will make you, like in an awkward position, making it to where if you want a stamina break, you're going to have to flick your stick a different direction than what you normally do. Now, the other one that he's got is this. When close to the top of the map. This is only when close to the top of the map. And they cannot have the amount of stamina that is required to roll when doing this. Dang it. Hold on a sec. 17, stop. See? This will also link a heavy stamina break. They gotta be at the absolute minimum, though. If they have the stamina to roll, they can roll out of this. And you must be at the ceiling for this to work. Another way that he's able to stamina break is this. after a jump hit, because it's a heavy slam, and it bounces them on the ground, he can link a light or heavy stamina break after it. Another thing that you can do is this. After his full square combo, you can either spend the bar, although you gotta delay it. If you don't delay it, that'll happen. See? You delay it, you can spend the bar, or you can just descend to the ground after hitting him with it, restand them, and then throw it out. He cannot stamina break after this one combo. After the ending of this string here, there's just not enough time to do it. So don't even try that. And it doesn't hit nearly as hard as Base Gogeta's version of that same kick. Now the other one that he has is this, and this is actually where we're actually I'll show you this. This is basically his whole game plan is unvanishable combos. You cannot get out of what I'm about to do right now. But it is a way to set up a stamina break if you time it correctly. You gotta time this thing correctly, but it is possible. Bear with me, people. It's very odd how you're supposed to do it. And sometimes, depending on where you are on the map, it can just make you vanish in a random way. The trick to it is, I think, is that you've gotta delay it right until those very last blasts hit. Oh, and be careful about that. The combos like this will whiff if you hit an obstacle, because this game doesn't have destructible obstacles, unfortunately. You can hear thunder in the background, people. It's because it's storming where I'm at right now. But it is possible to do this, I swear. It was working earlier, it's just not wanting to work right now. Alright. We're going to come back to get that later, but another way that you can do it, and this is only at the top of the map, is by doing this combo here. If you time it correctly, that will link. Hold on a sec. I swear, it's possible, people. You gotta... The problem is that you've got to be at a certain altitude for this to work. Because if you're not, as you see there, there's not enough distance to where I can actually tech off those blasts. Also, the recovery on this combo is very weird. See? There you go. It is possible. It's just difficult. And you can heavy stamina break off it as well if you want. It's easier to do the other one that I was trying to show you at the top of the map as well. As you see that right there. It does work mid altitude, but it's just very weird to get it to work at that altitude. Now then, Let's see here. I do believe that's the last stamina break I can... No, actually, he's got one more, and that's after his back hit. He can immediately cancel out of his back hit into a stamina break. That includes a heavy stamina break. Hold on, I'll do it again. See? There's only one other cast that can do this, and that is Bojack, as far as I'm aware. Now let's get into those loops. I'll show you his key loops first. Now his tech key loops, for those who are aware of it. I'll just show you his regular loops first. First off, he has this. You can bounce him up with a key blast if you want. Or you can just let it fly. As long as they don't vanish, they cannot roll out of this. Then he's got this one here. Oh, hold on a sec, not that one. You can either throw a key blast out to make it faster, or you can use the really slow cancel on it. It does have a flight cancel, it's weird. It's got like a weird long delay to it. And this is one of the reasons I say he's a weird character. He feels sort of incomplete in a lot of ways. And that's one of the ways right there. You see how it seems like I should be able to immediately cancel this, but it's delayed. Don't get me wrong, it's still combos, but it feels delayed too much for how it's supposed to combo. It gives them way too much time to actually escape it. Then the other one that he's got is this. Same concept. This also has a weird block cancel, as you see right there. And so does this one. You see how I was able to block right there? It's very strange. Then, after his full heavy, when he hits you with this last uppercut, that is cancelable. You can only continue it with a dash at the top of the map. If you're at the lowest point or at mid altitude, you have to fly in order to continue this combo. You cannot just dash or step. Then another one that he's got is this. This has a block cancel. Now, let's see here. I do believe that is the last one. Let's see. Yeah. No, actually, he's got this one in as well. After this blast, you can go like this. And after his full triangle, square, triangle combo, you can, of course, do the same thing. Fly down after blasting them once to make them bounce and continue the combo. Now let's get into the standing loops, which he actually has a few, although they're very strange and unorthodox, and I'll get into why that is in a bit. But one of them is just one heavy. This has a weird cancel window on it, and that's another reason I think he's incomplete, is because this really seems like it should be immediately cancelable, but it has a weird delay to its cancel window. But what's even weirder is that it has a block cancel that allows me to loop it. This is a true loop, too. Watch. See that? As long as I time it right. It's only if you time it right, though. And you gotta be fast. If you're too slow, it will drop. But see that? Look at that. I can't do it I can't do it like 10 times. It makes my fingers cramp up a bit. But you can see that it's a loop there. It's very strange. Another cancel that he has is this. After 2 heavies, it doesn't have it doesn't have a the amount of stun, so you can't loop it, but it does have a weird cancel to it, just like his single heavy, his little spin kick, or his roundhouse kick, rather. Now the other thing that he has is this. This has a step cancel, and it also has a block cancel. This is probably his best standing loop. It's the most consistent, online and offline, and it's the one that does the most damage, as you see there. And because they're standing loops, as I've said, with every other character that has standing loops, it will keep their opponent. It'll keep your opponent from recovering stamina quickly during the combo. But another thing that is weird about his stun loops is this: if you are in Super Saiyan, you lose access to this one. You see how the animation slightly changes and it's actually slower? This roundhouse kick is slower in Super Saiyan, and I lose the cancel. However, with two heavies, I can almost immediately block cancel. Now, you can't loop two heavies still, because the stun doesn't have enough, it doesn't have enough frames of stun. But you can do this, which you cannot do in his base form. See? But in Super Saiyan, he gets access to a new loop. See that? I messed up right there. See that? In base form, he cannot do this loop. This is another reason why I say he's very strange. Is he functions a little bit differently when it comes to the stun frames on his combos and the cancel windows on his combos in Super Saiyan. Now let's get into the other tech. Let's get into the tech loops. I know I said I'd get into tech at the end of the video, but part of his basic game plan is to use tech combos to extend them and to create unvanishable situations. Like so. See that? That is an inescapable loop. You can also, instead of going into all the blasts, you can do this. You can use two blasts instead. And you can also do that after his heavy combo, as I demonstrated earlier. And that gives you access to new combo routes like that. But it gives you access to loops as well, as you see there. And the most crazy loop that he has is this thing right here. I ended it, but I can keep that going indefinitely. If I time it right, I can keep that combo going indefinitely. Just you gotta actually use all the blasts when you're doing this close one. All I'm doing is teching the back hit and going directly into his square. See that? That is a completely inescapable loop. This is one of the reasons I say he's better than Fused Zamasu, is that this is just ridiculous. And it allows you to go into any of his other strings as well. You can also do it after this combo. You see right there? Look at that. Pretty dang sick. But that is it for his infinite loops, everybody. Now let's get into those skills. First off, counter impact. This is a pretty decent skill. Costs 1 bar of ki. It's pretty punishable, dude. You gotta keep that in mind. It is a reaction counter. You cannot throw this out and just hope that your opponent hits you. And it will not counter ki blast supers as you see there. It only counters strike and basic. But that's a really good thing, because as you see right there, I can immediately start attacking you after I vanish. The only time that, but there is a problem with this skill though, and that's the fact that you can just be up and ki stunned out of it like you can with most counterattacks. But it'll stop grabs, as you see right there, it'll stop back hits. It has a pretty decent window. It's not like ridiculously fair, but it's pretty solid, to be honest. And I can't, it's not just that. I can immediately go into skills, and if I want, if I were to, say, time it perfectly like this, hold on, I'm going to let him hit me. I can immediately go into stamina breaks as well. But like I said, the one problem this skill has is that you can be ki stunned out of it. Now the other feature the skill has is if you hold it down, he will unleash a blast at your back at lightning speeds, just like Goku Black's sudden death beam skill. This is borderline unreactable for most characters, depending on which combo you counter. If they're like a male Earthling that's square triangling, or a Super 17 that's burst dashing constantly, like that, you saw that it blocked it. It isn't completely safe, but it is something that you can use. Get some pretty, and it does some pretty solid damage, as you see there. But the main thing that I like about this skill is the fact that it's a better after image skill, essentially. It's more consistent, it's faster, and I can immediately cancel into basic attacks and other attacks, which is something that the regular after image skill cannot do. Now, as for the blast of the move, it's really not any better than a sudden death beam. I mean, it is kinda, it has more range and it has a lot more damage, but that's it. Now then, Wild Buster. This is a combo extending super. You can immediately flight cancel out of it. Costs 1 bar. This attack will usually land online fairly consistently, despite being a very cinematic attack. Only under the most extreme types of lag will this whiff on you online. And if you want to do anything, you can spend, if you want to do more damage, you can actually spend a second bar of ki, and he'll unleash this blast. And this blast will always connect every time that last kick, excuse me, I can't talk. Every time that last kick, this last roundhouse kick that he does here, every time that hits, it will immediately hit confirm the blast. The blast never whiffs. It always lands. However, the kick can sometimes whiff online depending on the lag, like I said, but thankfully it is almost always under only the most extreme cases of maximum lag. Like if your opponent's lag switching, for example, like a bastard, then yeah, they're gonna get out of this most likely. But for the most common forms of lag, no. This will always land. It's just a very solid super. It also looks badass because of the cinematic angle it gives you. They definitely went ham with making this skill look very nice. It's definitely a very flashy skill. It's one of my favorite looking skills in the game now. But enough of that. Now let's get into shield barrier. Also, I should mention, you cannot get out of this skill. This is not a skill that you can snap vanish. The moment I hit you with that first strike, you're guaranteed to get hit by all of it unless you evasive or limit burst. Now the other skill that he has is shield barrier. Now this skill will deflect nearly all types of key supers and regular key blasts, such as Flash Bomber here. It will completely deflect that. I can move while I'm in the middle of it. And I can even attack you while I'm in the middle of it. Though there is one problem with this skill. It is very good against the AI, but against a competent player, I'm gonna put him on strong real quick. The moment you're hit, this barrier will dissipate. And that can cause problems for you, especially considering he only has a reaction-based counter skill that he can use in the middle of this barrier. But it is very hard to it's very hard to utilize the counter and the barrier at the same time, because just one hit from the barrier, one hit on the barrier is going to completely dissipate it, and the counter is only reactionary. You have to time it perfectly. If you don't, you're going to get hit. This barrier will deflect nearly every single type of blast in the game, aside from ultimate attacks and 4 super attacks that I know of: Big Bang Kamehameha, Big Bang Attack, Perfect Shot, and Vanishing Ball will go through this skill. But nearly every other type of Ki Blast in the game, besides ultimate attacks, like I said, will completely be nullified by this skill. This skill was possible. I think it was possibly meant to be a full counter to. What I mean by full counter is like a hard counter to key stuns, because everybody knows that key stuns are super duper popular. Everybody does them. Everybody abuses them because they are super duper free and super easy to abuse and super effective. And they allow you to move at lightning fast speeds with any character, basically. But unfortunately, because of the fact that his counter is susceptible to being hit by key stuns, this really doesn't help it. It also doesn't help it that the shield can deflect regular key stuns, but unfortunately, it can't deflect any kind of melee. If your opponent decides to just rush in and bum rush you, that's it. You're getting hit, unless you perfect block it. But it's very difficult to just rely completely on perfect blocks in this game. It's also weird that you can actually deflect blasts while you're in the middle of this. I don't know why it works that way. You'd think it would just go right through it, but it doesn't for some reason. Also, it's very susceptible to grabs. Now, the other skills that he has Burst Charge, but most people should know what that does. It's probably the best charge skill for PvP. Charges 2 bars of ki per tick. And the other thing that he has is this. He has Super Gallet Gun, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video. Very good amount of damage for a 3-bar ultimate. It's very simple to land. You can land it after a knockback like this. After this combo here, it sets up an unvanishable, which is freaking ridiculous to take that much damage from one freaking combo. But that doesn't even scratch the surface. If you use this next ultimate attack, good gosh, you're just dead. Look at this. Good gosh, man. Do not... I would recommend if you're fighting this character, personally, stay away from the ground. Because if your opponent knows they can do this to you, you're likely going to die to an unvanishable combo. Literal touch of death. Just one single combo, and you're dead. Look at that. Just an absolute gargantuan amount of damage. And I'm not even in Super Saiyan. If I'm in Super Saiyan, that'll one-shot just about any character in the game, except Ribrianne. Unless her Super Soul's been activated only once before. This will not work when you're at this height. It only works when you're close to the ground. But it doesn't matter. Because you're just dead. Plain and simple. I don't even have to spend the full bar when I'm in Super Saiyan to kill you with that combo. Those are just examples of what you can do right there with his ultimate attacks in terms of unvanishables. Some people think those are cheap. I personally don't, because you're using all of your ki. And if it misses, you're just wasting your time and your energy, literally. He has explosive wave, but it's a decent evasive skill, don't get me wrong, but it costs way too much for what it's able to do. Now then, let's get into optimization. One basic combo you can do is this. And then go into Wild Buster after that. You can also do this combo here. And then go into Wild Buster after that. Except you'll use it as a combo extender this time. Wild Buster is his only offensive super attack, but it doesn't really matter. It's just a very good attack, so it really isn't that bad, but he only has one. Oh, hold on a sec. There you go. There's another one. Now, online, the reason I didn't even mention that you can actually do this and continue a Ki Blast after that is that online this kind of loop doesn't work. And as you see right there, they can get out of that. There's not enough time to get them after that combo. I wouldn't even try, as you saw right there. I did an entire barrage to bounce them up, but it didn't work. So what I would instead go into that tech combo that I just did right there. Bam, bam. Also, I should mention, his Super Soul, it refunds the amount of ki that you use when it activates. So, for example, if I were to use Wild Buster, and it activates if I only spend 1 bar of ki on it, it'll automatically refund 1 bar of ki. The problem with the Super Soul is that it does it quite randomly. Rarely, in fact. But he's able to maximize his damage quite easily. And the best part about these combos is that they're pretty consistent online. There's been almost no time where any of his combos have whiffed on me online, even when I'm fighting extreme amounts of lag. So that's really good about him. And this combo in particular, right here, is anti-lag switch. You cannot get out of it. Even if you were to like pull up Spotify or something like that, you're stuck in this for as long as I can keep you there. Until you get to a certain distance like that. Look at that. Most annoying loop to ever get hit by, and you can't even lag out of it. Now let's get into some optimization with stamina break combos. Careful about that. If you are behind them, sometimes doing a light stamina break after that combo. Why'd you jump, 17? I swear that they still have not fixed that. When the AI will just randomly decide to jump out of nowhere. If you want, you can actually restand them and do a second heavy, like so. But you gotta time it right. But what I was trying to show you is this. Hold on. Okay. Make me a liar, game. I don't know why it's being like that, but sometimes this game just, its physics are just so broken. There, it worked that time. And then you can go into like a Gala Gun after that, or preferably a final shine attack if you want to kill your opponent. Another example right here is this. If you are in Super Saiyan, as I mentioned before, you can loop this. This will kill them, guaranteed, every single time, because of how much damage it does. Here's another example. They're just dead if they get hit by this. You gotta be somewhere around the midpoint of the map in order for this to work. Hold on, I'm gonna This is difficult, people. Keep in mind. This is more of an unorthodox way of teching this combo. There you go. When you're at the top of the map, this will happen sometimes. As you saw right there, they dropped out of the final shine attack. Now, ironically, I've tested this online and it doesn't do this, but offline, for some reason, final shine attack will just cut out halfway through and just drop them out of it because it doesn't have the same hitbox as most other beam attacks. Now I will show you tech. Now the tech that I know with this guy, first I'll show you some I'll show you some Super Saiyan cancel techs. One that you can do is this, of course. And if you wanted to, you can add more after that before stamina breaking them. Here's an example right here. After that combo, you're going to immediately cancel into your base form. Two heavies. Bam. Bam! Look at that. Sick, right? Point blank Super Galagun. Untech there. Another example that you can do right here is this. Hold on. Bam, bam. Same concept. This does work online if you time it right. Although, keep in mind, the loop of one heavy can be a little bit iffy. Depending on the lag, it can sometimes just make them be able to block mash out of it for some reason. I don't know why. Now, another thing that you can do is this. You can set up your jump hit like that instead and do whatever you want from there. One of my favorite ways to end a combo is like this, so I'm going to continue to do it. Or you can do it like this. See how I turned around right there? And remember how I mentioned you can immediately cancel into stamina breaks after his back hit? Yeah, because that's a heavy slam, that is a true combo right there. Now what I'm doing is I'm flicking my stick as soon as I descend. That causes my character to turn around the opposite direction of my opponent, no matter if I'm locked onto them or not. I don't know why it works that way, but that's just the way the physics work for this thing. It's weird, and in order to get fast at doing it, you gotta practice it. But once you do, you can back hit pretty much immediately. Just be careful not to make your character turn around again. And make sure that you're angling your stick correctly, and you can set that up. And like I said, you can also cancel into heavy stamina breaks, so this setup is also possible. If you want, you can also add more to it. with the Super Saiyan, with the fact that you're in base form, you can loop his heavy before actually standard breaking it, like so. See? I actually messed up right there because I accidentally hit the barrier skill. See right there how I can immediately go into another heavy after that? The idea is that you'd go into two heavies after that, like this. Hold on a sec. Even I mess up on it sometimes, guys. Just keep practicing if you're not getting it. Because these techs are mainly meant to be flashy. See right there? True combo. And that's pretty much it for the tech setups I know with Super Saiyan canceling. Another tech that you can do is this. After this combo here, if you're in the air, sometimes you can do this, and I'm gonna try and demonstrate it. I couldn't really get it to work consistently whenever I was testing it, but it is something you can do. I'm positive. Time that. Shoot a couple key blasts. Okay, I don't know why it didn't let me tech right there. That was weird. You want to do a volley right here? Okay, be careful about what happened right there, guys, because for some reason, I don't know what it is exactly. If these blasts don't hit consistently. Okay, you see how I'm angled right there whenever I appear above them? You can actually set up a back hit tech with this. Like so. Volley. GT blasts. Tech immediately. Bam. 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 Look at that. Ain't that disrespectful? 3 charge heavies in one combo. Look at that. And you can do more than that if you want. If you were in Super Saiyan, for example, you could do something like this instead. Although, then actually no, that won't work. Because if you're in Super Saiyan, you have that troublesome vanish charge that the developers gave Super Saiyan in this game. That is almost completely useless. But that is a setup that you can do right there. And if you wanted to, instead of going into the full combo like this, you could go into this instead. Okay, game. That was very weird. Okay, keep that in mind. You saw what happened right there. Depending on where you are on the map, if there is any kind of collision due to those troublesome invisible barriers, That can happen sometimes. But what I was going to tell you is that you can block cancel this and go into Super Galagun instead. But that's only at the top of the map. You can only do that tech at the top of the map, people. Keep that in mind. Now, let's see here. The other one that he has is after his jump hit. This is only something you can do while offline, unfortunately, because you have to make the Ki Blast go over their head. Although you can also do it like this if you want. You can do it quicker. It's just a matter of can you get to them in time. After this combo, actually, you can also do the same thing. This is also a way to combo into his grab. However, keep this in mind, these are inconsistent online. Now then. Let's see here. Is that it? Do believe... Yeah, I do believe that's it for the tech I know of him, everybody. Yeah, that's it for the video, everybody. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you all for watching my video. Please like the video if you actually liked it. Share it if you liked it, maybe, and if you want to if you want to show people how to use this character and introduce it to your friends or something like that, share the video. Maybe subscribe if you are new to my channel, if you want to see more content like this from me. I do my best to upload content as often as possible, but I do have a full-time job. So it does keep me busy. So just bear that in mind. And I thank you all for watching. Also, link to my Discord server in the description below. Come and join if you want to keep in touch with me. See you later.